So Preston,
Sebastian,
if I said to you, if you devote yourself to pickleball for the next year, that you could seriously compete with the pros, would you do it?
are you asking me if I think I could, or if you
No,
told
I'm
me
saying
like it's
you
guaranteed?
will. You'll be able to compete
Yeah.
with the pros, guaranteed. You'll be able to go to these events, all that good stuff. But you have to keep with the same level, if not more, dedication that you're
Yeah.
doing now.
Done. No questions.
Really?
No question.
Then
Dude,
hey,
why not? I mean, like,
well, dude, it sounds like you
Here's the
should
thing.
do it. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know what like pickleball players get paid though. You know, like at some point I do have to have an income. You know, so I don't know what they get paid because it's such a new sport. as
Probably
far- it's
not
like,
much.
That's the thing.
Probably not much. But if you're him, it won't matter.
Yeah, that's true. And here's the thing: is I would be like Daniel Ricciardo, where even if I'm not the best, my personality would. I would still. I'd be the face
Dude,
of
for
pickleball.
real. You could get into pickleball content creation. What if you had the best pickleball YouTube channel out? You just there others just didn't compare.
It's crazy because there's like 4 or 5 pickleball channels that have absolutely exploded in the last year.
Oh, I bet, bro. When my dad started to get into pickleball, that motherfucker was watching pickleball YouTube videos
Oh, yeah.
all day long.
Hey, I appreciate that though. That's a real hustler right there. That's somebody who wants to learn and get better right there.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that part about my father made me like the older I got, I started to recognize it. He was always like that. He always wanted to like learn exactly how to do something the best way and do it that way, you know?
And has he progressed from his tutorials?
Yeah, definitely, but he's just, you know, at his age, he's so physically limited in terms of like how quick he can, like, you know what I mean? Like he could serve like a nice little crafty fucking dinker shot, like, you know, right in the kitchen like a motherfucker. And then if you respond to it though, he's toast. Like, cause he won't, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I will say I have had my ass absolutely kicked by some older dudes that just know what the fuck they're doing.
Recently?
It's been a lot. No, it's been a while.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you've probably
It has
ascended. Your skill has ascended where like your physical intangibles plus your skill, those old men, they can't overcome that deficit now.
Next tournament I play in that's ranked, I will be willing to show my ranking, like my duper on here, and we'll track it and we'll see how high I can get.
Fuck it, why not, dude? Why not?
Yeah.
Life is but a dream. Why not? I would love that arc in your life. The serious
I just like fuck
pickleball
around. I'm
crescent
like,
arc.
yeah. I mean, dude,
It
I'm
would
playing
give me
like
a reason
12,
to go out
15
there,
hours a
bro.
week.
Imagine that. You have your first real tournament. I would fly out there to see what's going on. I could sit in the crowd with Lena in Austin cheering you on. Woo!
Yeah, dude. I mean, I placed second in a couple like 4-0 tournaments like 5 months ago. Like
That's what I'm saying,
4 months
dude.
ago.
Give yourself more credit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fuck it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, dude.
Let's see what
Don't let
happens.
your dreams be dreams. Let's go.
I'm gonna get a trainer, a nutritionist. I'm gonna be like Tom Brady at pickleball.
Dude, what if though?
No, you know what? You know who I really could be is the Dennis Rodman. You know Dennis Rodman,
Exactly.
like just got found playing basketball at the airport.
Or like a community college. I think he was like a janitor at a
something.
community college, and they're like,
No,
yeah.
he worked at the airport. I remember that he worked at the airport.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
But-
I know he had like a really rough start. I think he was like abandoned by his mother, like really young, and like
Yeah.
he absolutely went through it.
Whatever his story was, is he wasn't in college like getting recruited.
Mm-hmm.
Like dude was literally just found. He was a freak, and he was just found on the street.
Yeah,
And became arguably the best defensive player of all time.
yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I mean, like I said before we got on this podcast, man, the sport of pickleball is young enough to where I think there could be stories like you. There's not going to be any Dennis Rodmans in 2024. No.
In the NBA, no.
No. The sport's too popular. You don't have enough time to get the reps in to be as good as you need to be at certain the individual skill traits that basketball has. But for you,
I will say being 6'5" does give you a extreme advantage on a court the size of a pickleball court.
yeah, I bet, man. Because
It's actually crazy.
I would be curious this as an analysis. Get all of the top 25 best men's pickleball players, right? Find out their height, find out their wingspan, put it into a chart, and then put yourself on the bell curve and see where you land. What percentile of physique are you for pro pickleball players?
Yeah, we'll have that data for next episode. That's good.
And for you, man. What if you looked and you're like, damn, I'm like a top 3%er? Or what if you look and you're like, oh shit, I'm like 60%er. Like I'm like a norm. Like this is what it takes at this level. Apparently, everyone's tall as fuck.
It's like funny because like if you really could say, hey, you can have one career, like you could do one thing ever, I'd be a race car driver. Like not even close. I would race.
Yeah.
But being tall is just an automatic negative.
It's not positive or possible.
It's not
right?
ideal.
Is there any 6'5" F1 drivers?
No, the tallest F1 driver I think is either George Russell or Alex Albon. They're like 6'1".
Okay, how tall is Lewis?
Oh, he's a small guy, 5'8".
Oh, damn, really? Yeah.
Dude, Yuki Tsunoda, who drives for AlphaTauri, he's like 5'4", bro. These are small men. The one of the guys, George Russell, I think if I remember correctly, he either wears a size 13 shoe and he has to wear a 12 because it doesn't fit. Nothing like a bigger shoe physically doesn't fit inside the pedal box, or he's a size 12 and has to wear an 11 because it doesn't fit. Like he has to wear when he races, he wears a shoe size smaller than he wears because it physically doesn't fit in the pedal box of the car.
That is insane,
right?
They're just like fucking fighter pilots, bro.
Yeah, the fighter pilots, horse jockeys, like just being bigger automatically means heavier, and it's just not. You're just not what you're supposed to be when you're racing.
Yeah. Like, coming out the womb, you and I were just automatically canceled out of living our horse jockey dreams, our fighter pilot dreams, our F1 dreams. They were never going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Well, also with F1 not being born to an incredibly rich family, your dreams are pretty much dashed right there.
True.
The tallest driver to have ever raced in F1 in the modern era, which is 2000 and beyond, he was 6'4", but he was a full 2.5 inches taller or 3 inches taller than the second tallest guy ever, and he only raced one season.
Damn. I wonder, did he not place well enough during that season and fizzled out, or did like his girlfriend cheated on him and he fucking fell into a dark spiral?
With F1, no. He went to IndyCar and actually died.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, he went to IndyCar and died. Well, real quick, before we get into the tragic deaths of every F1 driver ever, welcome to Neon Sage.
Neon Sage November. You know what that means.
Neon November. Oh, I like that.
Neon November.
It's Neon November, baby.
You have to watch one of our podcasts every day of November, even if you've already listened to it.
Oh, yeah. No, it's no Neon November. Try your hardest not to listen to any of our stuff.
Yes, try your hardest. I know.
I know. Do whatever you can. Do whatever you can not to like, subscribe, comment, share, listen to any of our content.
I know.
Hashtag no Neon November.
No Neon November, baby. So let's see if you can resist. We'll see. We'll see.
I like that.
So
that's a good one. That's a good challenge.
So let's just jump into the weekly wrap up. Preston, tell me about your week. What did you like about it? What did you hate about it? Is there anything fun that happened? Was there anything really silly that happened? Was there anything really bad that happened? Tell me.
What I liked about the week, in the last 7 days, I've probably played 15 hours of pickleball.
Wow.
I played every day for like 3 hours. That's and they've been really, really good days. Like going out there with guys that I know, can bang, playing at like tougher courts than I, should. So that's really good. And other than that, I mean, Halloween weekend,
True.
By the time you guys hear this, we did record our last episode before Halloween. So Halloween weekend was super fun. Carved some pumpkins, did some family stuff. Got my drink on a little bit, which is rare.
How much did you drink when you drank?
I mean, enough to lose count, but I probably had like maybe 4 or 5 shots and maybe like 8 or 9 White Claws.
Did you were you hungover the next day?
Yeah, not super hungover, but I was hungover. It's all because of sugar.
Yeah,
it's all because of sugar. With my in-laws and stuff, we all get together and everyone like brings a cocktail or dessert. Like every time we do something, it's just everyone brings something.
Whenever I see your guys' get-togethers, I'm like, damn,
it's the best.
I'm like, I should be there, like that.
It's the best.
That's what I honestly think. I see that, I'm like,
I've told you so many times, like I have said these words out loud, and I'm gonna say it for everybody on the podcast. If I could have you marry into the family from another way, I would die happy, bro.
That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool,
bro.
Would be
oh my god, if we were like cousin-in-laws,
that would be pretty cool.
Oh, that'd be the best.
That way I get to be in on all the family drama as well. Me and you could just
dude,
venting about the family drama all the time to each other, bro.
Oh, yeah. Good thing there's no family drama at all.
Woo!
That's the best part.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun.
So yeah, I mean, my week was good. Halloween was good. Got to see the family. Had a little fun. Let loose a little bit. Playing lots of pickleball. Just a good week to be me, you know?
Yeah, man. I mean, you're healthy. That's all you really can ask for, right? So, yeah, that's good to hear, bro.
What about you? How was your week?
My week was good, man. It honestly flew by. Like I say this every fucking time, but I like saying this every time.
Yeah.
Because it really is the reminder of the never-ending flow of time, and that, like, next thing you know, it's November, like, honestly. And we all know what that means. Like, the back half of this year basically flushes itself down the toilet. It's like, it's so fast.
Oh, we have 72 hours left of 2023.
That's basically what it is, honestly. And when the week Thanksgiving, that week of Thanksgiving, when we get there, the year's done, basically.
Do you have, I have a absolutely stacked November. Do you have, like, a lot of things going on?
Honestly, because all of my family lives in Arizona, I don't really travel for Thanksgiving. So, nothing. I mean, I have some things I got to do during November, and there's a lot of things I have to do in my personal life, but no, like, traveling, no big events. Why? What do you have going on?
Oh, dude. So this weekend, I have, I'm doing BMW M Track Day.
Oh, cool.
So I'm doing, like, the BMW event where you get to go drive all
on the
new
track
cars
and shit.
Stuff. This one's an autocross event, so it's like this one's not on a track. It's like a made up track. It's autocross, and then the following weekend I have something I can't remember. I know I have something like the 9th, but then the next weekend is Formula One. I'm going to Formula One Vegas.
Oh,
then Thanksgiving.
Yeah, dude. Good for you.
Yeah,
I
have something every weekend.
Is it the first F1 you've been to?
Oh yeah, it'll be my first live F1 race.
That'll be really cool, bro. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, dude. And the races have been, I mean, aside from already knowing who wins, you know, the races have been really, really good.
Yeah.
Which is dope.
Yeah, that's fucking tight, bro. That's super cool. I'm excited for you, dude. I'm very excited for
stoked.
you.
I'm super stoked.
If I had to think of anything worth sharing, I would say, so those of you who already know, I'm in anime, right? And so I'm been watching an anime called Berserk. It came out in like the 90s, and the manga is like historically, like critically reviewed as one of the best manga of all time. And the best iteration of the anime supposedly is the 1997 version of Berserk. It's like 25 episodes, and it covers like the very beginning of Berserk. The manga covers way more, but hasn't been properly adapted, and they just haven't adapted it correctly, and so the fandom kind of projects it. And I started watching Berserk 1997, and I'm about like 20 episodes in out of the 25, bro. I've never seen an anime that was more like Game of Thrones than anything else. Like,
you just said this 2 weeks ago about fucking
exactly. Vinland Saga
what is it? Vinland Saga.
Vinland Saga is really close. Berserk really captures that Game of Thrones energy, like in a different way. It's so fucking good, bro. You would love it. The art is so fucking sick. The art style.
So I had watched some of it when I was younger, but never really got into it because it wasn't that's not an anime that was super accessible.
No.
I don't remember it was.
Yeah,
being, I don't remember
it's
it being
definitely
on.
like rated R as fuck in terms of like how much gore there is and like the themes that happen where you're like, oh my god, like some very perverted themes. But that's what makes it like Game of Thrones, right? Where they mix in the sex. Not like in a fan service way, but in like a oh my god way. Oh no, like, you know. So it's a really fucking cool show, and I've honestly just been.
You're how many episodes in?
20 out of the 25.
Oh, you're deep.
Yeah, bro. I'm deep. I'm almost ready to have an opinion on it, and I'm definitely gonna read the manga. I'm gonna turn into one of those people that collect all of the Berserk manga and read it.
Have you seen the books? No, have
Yeah,
you seen the big Berserk books?
exactly. The big
Oh,
leather bound books, bro.
dude, they're sick.
So I'm definitely turning into that guy. Without
Are
a
you
doubt.
collecting manga right now? Or do you have any?
I
you have
collect a
any
little bit of
collecting?
manga. I have like the Demon Slayer box set unopened. Then I have some One Piece. I have some Attack on Titan. I have some Junji Ito. I have some things back there. I have some, but I don't like heavily collect it because I wanted to get into collecting it. But I was about to start buying the One Piece box sets, but I don't know if other people feel this way. But I have this thing that I call like completion anxiety. And so, for example, if I buy one of the One Piece box sets, I can't just buy one and be cool about that. For like, it turns into me
I'm definitely the
obsessing
same way.
buying all of them this week now. Like it's just worth it. Even if it's like $1,000, like I need to do it.
Yeah, I'm definitely the same way. But honestly, when it comes to manga, I actually kind of like that. Like, I don't know if you can see these right here. These are the original Gundam Origin books. There's like 13. I have 3 of them,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually don't mind. Like, they're all in print, and just like I like going to different stores like Barnes and Nobles or other manga stores, and just like, oh, if they have one that I need, I'll get it. Like I like that, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
These Gantz
That
ones,
different
these
hunt
Gantz
of it. Yeah,
omnibus.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Like, I don't mind. Like, I have 2 full sets of Akira. I have the paper and the hard copy.
Yeah.
I have the 35.
That's a manga I really want to
anniversary.
read. That's I probably will read Akira maybe after Berserk.
Oh, dude, the manga's so fucking.
Yeah, I think the manga.
I
I,
have, like,
think the manga shits on the anime's face, storytelling wise.
No,
Storytelling wise,
It's-
I think it does.
no,
I'm pretty
no.
sure.
It's just,
Pretty sure.
it's just like, I don't even know what I could.
That story
It would
feels like
it-
it has to be so much more fleshed out and just
No, but that's the thing about Akira, which, oh my god, I'm so glad we brought this up because, dude, that's what it's going on the next weekend of November is the new
Studio Ghibli movie.
Studio
The Boy
Ghibli
and the
movie
Heron.
and
Yeah.
The Boy and the Heron, and they're playing Ghost in the Shell.
In theaters again. Nice.
That's what it was. Before we get back to that, it's just like Game of Thrones. Do the books do a better job of fleshing out the story? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You have 800
they always do.
pages.
They always do.
However, that's what makes the Akira anime so good is that in less than 2-hour runtime, you get a story from start to finish, and it tells you, it shows you the entire universe. Like, you just like you're invited into this entire universe, but they don't have to show you the whole thing. You don't need 35 episodes. You need 2 hours. And I think that's what makes a good movie a good movie, you know? Like, if you can get a complete story and you can get a good grasp on the characters, I think they're two separate things. That's my opinion.
I can see what you mean by that. I can see what you mean by that. I think that's.
I mean, I love the manga. I have 2 copies of every book, but
yeah. I would be. Yeah. No, I'll be curious. I'll be curious to. I'll read it someday, and like you said, right, the book is always going to be able to extrapolate and expand and dive into certain like parts of that they'll just never be able to replicate correctly.
yeah.
You know,
I got like emotional there for a second. I was like, I just love Akira so much.
that's amazing though, man. That's how art should make you feel, and that's why it's cool. Like the final part of Attack on Titan comes out this weekend.
No shit.
The final part.
Lena is gonna be geek.
Yeah, bro. I might have to watch like the last couple parts, like just before.
Oh, we always do.
Just to get my
Yeah.
mind nice and horny for some Attack on Titan.
Before like the last, this is the fucked up thing about is we're on like final part part 12 at this point. But
Yeah.
before the first final part that was like a long form, we watched like 5 or 6 episodes, you know, so you get caught up. And so we'll probably just watch the last 2 long form final
Exactly. I think that's probably what I'll do as well. And dude, I can't wait because I mean I love the manga ending of Attack on Titan, and that's actually a very rare opinion in the anime community, at least for sure in North America.
You love the ending of the manga?
I do. I think it's cruel, and I like it.
It's not. Yeah, please do not.
It's cruel. I'll just say it's cruel. A lot of people didn't like it, and so you know you're left to interpret what that means. It's not. You'll be surprised to see how it ends. Or maybe you won't be.
Let's stop there.
All right?
Let's stop there because I already had one show fucking ruined for me this week.
What show was that?
I've been watching Handmaid's Tale.
Oh my god, that sucks.
And right now it has 5 seasons out. Lena and I are on season 4, episode 6. And one of the guys that I work with, we were talking about shows and stuff, and I was like, dude, I'm watching The Handmaid's Tale. I love it. And he's like, oh, I've seen the whole thing. Where are you at? I told him where I'm at. And he goes, oh, so you know this, right? And I was like, you fucking douchebag. No, I didn't know that.
What did you really say to him?
I said, dude, you're a fucking douche. Why would you tell me that?
That sucks, dude. That honestly
I mean,
sucks.
you know it. In a sales environment, especially
yeah.
in the industry I work in, it's not like there's no HR,
you could
know?
yeah, exactly. You could call him the most flagrant thing ever and nothing happens.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you don't use the N-word, you're like totally good.
Yeah.
That's a joke. I just want to put that out there.
That's a joke, guys.
Yeah, that's a joke. So yeah, dude, he ruined the he didn't ruin the show, but it's like a huge plot point that I was like, oh,
and it just got taken
but
out
I will
from
say,
underneath you. Yeah, man, that does suck. That's happened to me a handful of times, and it's
what show?
it actually happened to me with Nana, sadly.
No.
Yeah, and it was totally
like a comment on your TikTok or something?
No, it was so sometimes when you're on TikTok, they won't post a video, but they'll post pictures and they'll like slide after a certain amount of time has passed, and the picture will just move. So you could it could be like 10 pictures and it's like a slide. And it was a Nana one. It was like the best Nana manga panels of all time. And I was just looking at the first one, and then it swiped to the next one. I was like, what? And I immediately swiped up, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No. Maybe there's a chance that this is wrong. And the whole time I was reading the show, I was like, maybe there's a chance.
Dude, yeah, dude, trust. So like the F1 races, the last couple weeks, they've been at really good times because they race in different countries all over the world. They were in Texas like 2 weeks ago. Last week they were in I don't remember where the fucking race was. This week they're in Brazil. So they've been on good time zones where the races are like middle of the day. So if I don't start the race on time and I don't get to watch everything live the first lap, I just wait till it's over. One of my buddies, I had sent him my login to watch the race. And then I didn't watch it because I was like, oh, I didn't get to it in time. And he texted me, he's like, oh my God, can you believe this happened? I was like, oh, dude. So the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, he was fucking with me, like, there's a chance, but like, deep down, you're like, oh, fuck, it's already been ruined for me.
That's tough. That's super tough, man.
Yeah,
especially for sporting events, it just totally deflates.
Exactly. But I just love watching the races.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, sports are so interesting that still seeing how and why the outcome resulted the way it did is still. It's not as fun as the first time when you don't know, but it's still good.
Sure.
It's still good.
Yeah, for sure. And also, too, like, especially with Formula One, it's not just like watching a football game where there's one play happening at a time. Like Formula One, there's literally 20 people racing at a time.
Yeah.
So even in a race where Max Verstappen is 20 seconds ahead of we just know he's going to win, there's still really good racing, which is cool.
That's a good point. Yeah. That's a very good point.
So, yeah, dude, lots of anime stuff coming up, which I'm stoked about.
Yeah.
Ghibli Fest has been
I can't wait for that, man. That's going to be a good time.
Dude, this weekend, Ghost in the Shell is going to be in theaters. I'm taking Lena to see it. I'm forcing her to see it. Or, I'm sorry, next weekend. I think it's the 8th through the 12th. 8th through 12th.
Nice.
So we're going to see that one. And then, dude, I'm excited for The Boy and the Heron.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be the first Ghibli movie I'm going to be able to see in theaters.
I don't even know when the last Ghibli movie came out.
Yeah, I don't either at all. When was it? What was the last Ghibli movie?
I'm going to look it up.
The dub cast goes crazy.
Dude, Christian Bale? Willem Dafoe, who are like two of my favorite live action
I think Florence
actors.
Pugh as well.
Yeah, she's in it.
Salma Hayek?
Some people are... Salma Hayek's in The Boy and the Heron.
Okay.
Oh my God. I was like, what the fuck? That's funny. That was very funny. For those of you that are just listening, my jaw just dropped and I got a boner. Let me see. What's your favorite Studio Ghibli movie?
Probably Princess Mononoke.
It just goes so hard.
It just goes so hard. And it has like the coolest tone out of the movies, in my opinion. Like, it's just cool. It's just cooler than Spirited Away. But Spirited Away is pretty fucking deep and like wild.
That's the thing,
and like fanatical in a weird way.
No, you hit it right on the head. Spirited Away is like obviously a better movie in the sense of the storytelling, like the emotional, like what it brings out of you. But yeah, I mean, Princess Mononoke is just cooler. Just a girl raised by wolves.
Yeah,
you have a lady who runs a camp of other women that are just like hard working ass, and there's like a demon. It's dope.
Yeah, exactly. And then also Howl's Moving Castle has a cool energy to it as well.
Howl's Moving Castle is very good.
That's a cool one.
Very, very good. So the last Studio Ghibli film was When Marnie Was There, but it wasn't directed by Miyazaki. The last movie that he directed was 2013, The Wind Rises, which I've actually never seen.
Never seen that either.
No.
Never seen that either. But I'm excited.
I mean,
man.
my boy,
seeing anime in
my boy
theaters
really
is so
had.
good.
He really had like, from 1986, Castle in the Sky, Grave of the Fireflies, My Neighbor Totoro, 1988, Kiki's Delivery Service, Porco Rosso, Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, and Ponyo.
I haven't seen Ponyo. Is it good?
Ponyo is very good. I haven't seen it since I was a kid. It's about like a, I think they're like on like a, what do you call those? Like a shipping container ship. It's like a, I haven't seen it since I was a kid, so I'm not even gonna try to fucking give it to you. I couldn't even tell you what it's about. But it's like they're like lost at sea. But yeah, dude, I love Studio Ghibli stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely a good fucking time, man. It's definitely a good time. I love watching anything in the theater, but because I'm such a weeb, you know, anytime I can watch anime in theater, like I'll go watch it. Like that one anime movie that came out. Ah, man, it was by the
Blue Giant?
No, it was just within the last year. It was about a girl and like a bicycle and like this little, like it was a very famous movie. I forget the name, but it was really cool watching it in theater. It was so cool.
That's funny because Blue Giant just came out like a month ago, and I wanted to see it so bad, but the only showing that was in my area was like 4:00 on a Monday, and I was like, oh, fuck.
Wow, weird.
I think it was called Blue Giant. It's like a jazz film. Like the kid's like a saxophone player. It's like
Really?
It's like Whiplash kind of, but it was like an anime Whiplash
weird.
where he's like trying to be a competitive musician.
Blue Giant.
It's the guy who made Mob Psycho.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Which I think is also One Punch Man, right? Same creator.
Correct. Wow, the manga or the way the characters are drawn is a little bit different too. They're more like
Have you watched Weathering with You yet?
No, I haven't. But I think the person who made Weathering with You made the anime movie that I saw. Not yet. Your Name. Your. I know they made Your Name as well, and I think they made the one that recently came out.
Let me see. Makoto Shinkai. How's your Japanese lessons going? Are you still taking them?
Yeah, still taking them. Me and Katayama Sensei meeting with each other every Sunday. I didn't meet with her this Sunday though because they had a holiday in Japan, and so there was just that week was skipped. So I haven't seen her.
Was it called Suzume?
Suzume, yeah. Mm-hmm. Hi.
Is it good?
Hi.
Is that yes?
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
Hi. So
Yeah, that's kind of racist the way I said it. Huh?
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, that's still Japanese though.
It's still very Japanese. That's the thing is like one of my favorite anime ever, Serial Experiments Lain.
Yeah.
People don't realize like the girl's name in English is Alice, but it's Arisu.
Arisu. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like it kind of sounds like you're just having a shitty Japanese racist accent, but that's actually how it's pronounced.
Arisu. Yeah, exactly. I mean, because it's the way they pronounce L's. L's and R's, they sound the same, and it turns into like a...
No, it's literally spelled Arisu, and it translates to Alice.
Yeah, exactly. That happens quite often. Like, there's a character in Nana, and they call her Reira, but her name is Layla. Reira. But it's like...
Reira.
They don't... Like, there's a video on YouTube of, like, some, like, Japanese language teaching, like, company or whatever, and they went around Japan, and they're having people in in Japan obviously pronounce English words that have a lot of L's or a lot of R's. They just get fucking butchered. And it's funny because we take it for granted. We're able to say, Roger that, or, permanently, like we can say the R's, like whatever, right? Like, but their tongues are not used to moving in that way. And so it's
like we take for granted that we can say he's widowy hitting the gwitty right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like exactly. And for them, it's so different though. And then they have their own sounds that for us it's like, oh, like my tongue is like feels like it's cramping trying to say this fucking saying because it's so not English.
Yeah, it's funny because I feel the same way about Arabic, actually.
Oh, I bet. I fucking bet.
The few words that I know in Arabic, I'm not even going to say them because it's so bad. I'm just so horrible at it. When I went to my good buddy of mine owns a restaurant, and he had an event where he flew a chef out from London. It was like a cool thing. And that was the first time he met my wife. And so he's like, oh, I heard you were Lebanese, or I heard whatever. And he says to her, like, oh, do you like this food? And he says, Lahma bajin. And that's like how it's said, right? Anytime a white person says it, every single person is like, what did you say? Every person, they're like, what? And then once someone says it actually, like an Arabic person, like, oh, I totally know what you're saying. Like, you could be pronouncing it the same way, you think, but it just doesn't, it's just not 100% there.
Exactly.
You're making all the right sounds, but it's just not coming off the tongue the same way. And it's funny because, Lena will be like, oh, what you meant was, and then she'll say the word in Arabic, and you're like,
yeah,
that's what I just said.
Yeah.
But it's like just ever so slightly different.
And I think what it is that I've learned about it a little bit in Japanese, but with different languages, they have like pitch accents where they emphasize certain syllables in certain words in different ways and cadences that so we think we're saying it right, but to them they're like, what the fuck did they just say?
That's exactly what I'm trying to explain.
It'd be like saying today or today, but like, you know what I mean? Like it seems so similar, but it's like actually a huge difference when you're trying to say another language.
When I'm trying to say it as a non-Arabic speaking person, I'm like, dude, I swear to God, I'm saying it the way you're saying it. But it doesn't come out.
Yeah, exactly. They don't hear it at all, which is really interesting, honestly. It's really, really interesting. Language is fascinating.
I don't know if it's just because, growing up in Southern California and taking Spanish, like the Spanish inflection and accent seems so much easier than most other languages.
Of course. I mean, half of our language is Latin, right? So it's like half of English is Latin and the other half is Germanic. English is a deviled tongue. And so we have so many, what's the verb to practice in Spanish? Practicar. Like, it's like there's so many things like that. So we've been pronouncing it, and then we use the same Roman alphabet. And so we're like in the same universe with each other, where Arabic, Japanese, those are different universes of languages.
Yeah, that's not even the same. Like kanji is crazy. The fact that like kanji can be a letter or a whole word or a whole sentence and it has a symbol associated with it is nuts.
It's so nuts, and there's like thousands of them. And then
like
on top
millions.
of that, they have like two alphabets with that. So there's kanji, then there's katakana, and then there's hiragana. And some words are written in katakana, and some words are written in hiragana, and then some words are written in kanji. And so you have to like be able to navigate that. And like
which is funny because
most Japanese people who aren't educated, they don't even know all the kanji.
Yeah, Arabic's the same way. Like the same word can be written 2 or 3 different ways, and it literally comes down to where you're from. Like who would say it differently.
Yeah.
So like if I ask my mother-in-law, hey, what does this mean? I'll give her literally 3 versions of the same word, and she's like, oh, well, that's what I would say. Mm-hmm. And that's what someone from Lebanon would say, or someone from Jordan would say. But they're literally the same word. They're pronounced the same way, but when they're written down and read, they are physically written different.
That's exactly, which is so
super
interesting.
Weird.
Yeah, and then it makes me think, okay, what are the difficulties of English, right? And it's like, I guess there's a lot of them, right? There's wood and wood. You're trying to teach. Yeah. There's a lot of things like that in English that are difficult. English is a difficult language to learn.
Well, and also English is the syntax is backwards in English, right? Like in most other languages, which just seems weird. You would say like, how would you say like, el perro negro, right? Is the black dog, but like they put dog first and we put black first. You know what I mean? Like that's got to be weird for someone it's not their first time.
Yeah, exactly. Like for example, in Japanese, it goes subject, object, verb. So if I wanted to say
Sebastian threw the ball, you would say Sebastian ball threw.
exactly. Yeah. So if I say I love coffee, right? I could say watashi wa. Watashi is me. Wa is the particle that connects it. Watashi wa kohi ga. Kohi, that's coffee in Japanese. Watashi wa kohi ga daisuki desu. So, me, coffee.
Holy shit, you're getting good at Japanese, bro.
It's been almost 3 months, so I've gotten used to saying a couple.
God damn, bro.
Yeah, so you kind of get used to it. And honestly, the pronunciation of Japanese is, when you listen to as much anime as I have, it starts you start to like just feel it. But anyways, that's how you'd say it. Where I like coffee, me love coffee. Like it's different order. And so they say things way differently. So their sentences in Japanese are actually very simple. And like I wouldn't, like when I'm talking to you, instead of saying you, I often would probably say your name, honestly. Yeah, so it's pretty interesting. Like I would say, like if I wanted to ask you a question, I could be like, Preston-san wa kohi ga daisuki desu ka? And so that would be me asking you if you love coffee.
Do I like coffee?
Yeah, or like it, or ski is like, daisuki is like love, but not like.
Also modifiers like that, where we have like good, better, best. Mm-hmm. They have like, what is it? Poquito, pequeño, and like.
In Spanish, yeah, exactly. And
I guess that was a bad example.
And then it gets like poco, and then they like.
Or isimo.
Or like isimo and like ito. Like your name could like.
Exactly.
You could have a son named Preston in Spanish, again, if you were Spanish, right, or whatever, and his name could be Prestoncito. That could be his name. And like little Preston, like that's what it means, you know.
Yeah.
Where in
that's funny.
You wouldn't say that in English. It'd be Preston Jr. or Little Preston, right? It'd be like a different.
Dude, so one thing I wanted to talk to you about, and I've been meaning to ask you about this. Have you seen this? Like, have you seen anything about Tucker Carlson recently?
Not really. I saw him with some podcast clips with Theo Vaughn. Seemed like an actually pretty funny conversation.
So that's the thing is, there's like this weird. I watched that same podcast too of Theo Vaughn.
I only saw a couple clips. I didn't watch the podcast.
I watched the whole thing, and the comments are like overwhelmingly positive. Of like, oh my god, we love Tucker, we love Theo. These guys are so good. We should do another episode. And I'm like, this was like the most hated man on the planet like 6 months ago.
He's not the most hated man on the planet. No way.
I'm obviously not.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, probably fucking Putin. Or
No. Yeah, but he's very. From what I understand, I've never really watched the show. I've just kind of seen him, but his like from what I've gathered from him, he's definitely very liked.
I guess that you're right. From my point of view and the people that like, from what I associate with, he's one of the most hated men on the planet. That's
and you're like think tank.
Exactly.
Yeah. He seems pretty light. And I'll say this, bro. He comes off. He could be manipulated. He has like a genuine.
Oh, he for sure is.
He does.
That's actually what I was gonna say. Was he's obviously very intelligent. He's super well spoken. He speaks very eloquently. But I have seen in the last like 3 or 4 months this like kind of redemption tour, this like revival arc for him, and like the
moving
the other
Twitter
side of the public
like
eye.
Or
Correct.
X.
And it's like, dude, this guy's obviously smart enough. He made that big statement about how once he left Fox, or got fired from Fox, whatever it was, that he was like, oh man, I was just peddling what they wanted me to and stuff like that. And it's like, bro, come on, you're a smart ass dude. Like, you're a very smart dude. You know that like the fear mongering, the fake stories, like you were very much in part of that. So I was just curious if you had kept up with that or seen anything about him, because I think he's obviously a very
I don't honestly
prominent figure in pop culture right now.
What I know of him is so limited. It's so secondhand. I don't watch CNN, Fox News. I don't watch any of those things. I've always heard of him. He by far seems to be the most popular single-handed like political personality out of like all of the like right, left, whatever. He's the most popular one, and people care what he has to say more than anyone else. He has the most weight to his name, it seems. I know when he was on Fox News, because I watch Breaking Points for my news. I know his show shitted on like every other show, like in that spectrum, like not even close.
Is Breaking Points that YouTube show with the Indian guy?
Yeah.
And the white girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, you sent me a couple of their things before.
Yeah. So that's where I primarily I get my news from them, and then weirdly enough, as of recently, I get a lot of like my news regarding like serious like geopolitical things from Andrew Bustamante, the former CIA agent that has his own YouTube now, and he gets like really deep into things because he has like a different perspective, being a foreign agent like in the field, and like the way that he understands these different countries, and like he really makes you think about like we are so indoctrinated into the American perspective on so many different things that we literally cannot comprehend things in other directions.
Well, dude, up until 20 years ago, there was no way to get the Chinese or the Israeli or Pakistani perspective. I'm sorry, Palestinian perspective on these. Before the internet was in our hands, there was no way to get that perspective.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he connects a lot of dots, and what's interesting is he doesn't like really lean one way or the other. He's just kind of like based like in like he kind of alludes to the strings in where the puppeteer hands are kind of laying in terms of like this is all just so much of this is just like political drama for that very reason, and looking to escalate things in certain directions to get things moving in other directions, and it's all that's why I don't know, that's why I tune out so much of most political news, is because it's all, in my opinion, mainly bullshit for the most part. It's all smoke and mirrors and lies and deceptions, and it's just like I said, like I still watch Breaking Points, and I like it because Cigar, he's more right leaning, but he's not even that right leaning. And then Crystal's more left leaning.
I feel like if you had to put a label on it, I feel like when the clips I've seen, I felt like it was a little more red pill. I guess it was
not at all, bro. Crystal Ball red pill,
really,
bro.
I mean, I've only seen
literally,
watched
and then the other guys for counterpoints,
maybe 3 hours.
Yeah, there's no way, bro. If I'll say this, I'm not saying this to you. If you think they're red pill, you are so far down the other side of the road.
No, I said a little more. I said if you had to put a label on it, I would say they were a little more.
I would not.
But I've also only seen maybe a combined total of 3 hours of their content.
Yeah,
and that's even being generous. I don't even know if I've really seen that.
I would never call them red pill ever. They really entertain the whole story, honestly, most of the time, and that's why they've gotten so popular, because they walk.
Yeah.
It's more so about telling the news. That's what you can realize when you just tell the news. Everyone has their own personal emotional inflections on certain events, right? Like that we all do. Like there are certain things within our belief systems that we've been built, and the biases that we live in based upon the people that are around us that affirm those biases all the time. Like we're all lost in the sauce. You're lost in the sauce. I'm lost in the sauce. We're all lost in a different type of sauce that's affirmed through everyone that's around us. You know what I mean?
Do you think that you could ever truly break down your biases to zero?
No, I don't think that's a human possibility. I think you are like trying to make a human non-human. It's the same way, crazy hot take. I don't think it's possible for a human or any highly intelligent social creature to hold zero prejudice. I think it's impossible. I think it's literally a repercussion of the social advancement of survival that you will create prejudices towards things that you don't even know you're creating prejudices of. Now, the aware thing to do is become aware of those and to challenge those all the time, but they will be made. It's part of your survival mechanism. Like, you know what I mean? It's what animals do, right? It's like, it's part of our reptilian brain, whatever you want to call it. And so it's like
Shane Gillis actually has a funny bit in one of his stand-ups where he says like racism is not like a yes or no. Racism is like hunger. You might not be racist like right now, and I think the punchline is like, but when a burrito cuts you off in traffic, like you're going to be a little bit racist, like of course ideally we all want to say like, no, I don't have any prejudice whatsoever, or I don't see color whatsoever. It has to.
It's a lie, and that's okay. It doesn't make you a bad person. What makes you a bad person is like going out of your way to like like really like step into it and believe in it and like try and like demonstrate some like level of maleficent intentions towards like another group of people that aren't doing anything to you. You know what I mean? Like that's obviously wrong. But like being a human, you're going to have different experiences and you're going to have your own subconscious prejudices, and it'll be what it will be. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Who's your least favorite race? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Can you imagine if I just answered that?
I know. I was like, I was like, okay. I was making the joke because I didn't think you were gonna answer that quickly, but you whispered.
See,
Mexicans really fast.
Yeah, right. Being a Mexican myself, but I would say this: what's so funny about that is that like you can ask someone that, and in this day and age, they'll never answer. But
they all have an answer.
Everyone has an answer, even
except
you.
us.
Yeah, even you, the wokest person that thinks they're like so absolved from doing any wrong ever. Like, dude, you even have something. It might be white people. You know what I mean? Probably is white people if you're super woke.
I mean, I definitely don't love rednecks. I'll tell you that.
I'll say this. I guarantee you, there has to be a minority of every type of people that like people wouldn't get along with. Just theoretically based upon odds. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way. And that's okay.
I think mine also is a little bit of like my in-laws, like I have family that are pretty like, you know, pretty white trash. So I think maybe part of it's that.
Yeah, and that right there, oh, it's racist, right? It's like, you know what I mean?
I'm really talking about my own family.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. It's stupid, right? It could even be this. It could even be a prejudice built around like a certain tribal affiliation, right? It could be as something as, oh man, I fucking hate Lil Uzi Vert fans, or I fucking hate Yankees fans, man. Like it's like that's what we are, bro. Like that's who we are.
We're tribal.
We're
just
tribal
beings.
Fucking crazy motherfuckers that like are trying to live this hella reformed social life.
Just talking about nature and stuff. Literally just scrolling through TikTok, I see this Komodo dragon eat this baby goat, just like right then and there. Mm-hmm. Just like we just got a little glimpse of nature. And the comments are like, I'm not the person I was. I wish I could unsee that. And I was like, bro, this is really how it is. Like, what do you think Komodo dragons eat? Like, they're not vegan, you know?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I think because for us in this generation, we've grown, especially in America, specifically America and the West and a lot of other first world countries, we've been so sheltered by this, you know, these decades and decades of peace for the most part in the countries that we come from, that we have a very delusional perspective on like what life should be and how it is, opposed to the actual brutal reality that life actually is. And
yeah, I wouldn't say should be, but
I wouldn't say necessarily
how it is, how it really is for a majority.
Exactly, of should be in the sense of, I think life should be full of only love and bliss, right? But
I don't think that though.
But no, but well, ideally, yes, it would be bliss, because then you wouldn't need anything. Everyone would just be humming in bliss, and wouldn't even nothing would matter if we all felt bliss, right? We would all die, but nothing would matter, at least, which in a good way, right? But it's like, it's the problem, man. We are competitors. Humans are fucking crazy. As long as people are going to try and climb over each other, it doesn't matter. There's a theme in Vinland Saga where this guy wants to be king super bad, and the king like tells his son, he's like, you think you're a good person? Wait till you put on the crown. The crown has a mind of its own. It's like the idea of like, we talked about it before. Oh, you think you're a good person? Let's put $10 billion in your bank account and allow you to have some say in the world. We'll see if you're still a good person then, right?
Yeah. Let's see if you have enough money to pay off politicians, and let's see what a good person.
Yeah, exactly. Like power corrupts. People yearn for power as like a survival mechanism at its like finest, like in the most granular way. So I don't like, life won't be like that. Like, you know, it just will never be like that.
Yeah, you fuck around and get a Rothschild or a Rockefeller as your last name. We'll see how long
exactly your perspective would be so different, and that's why I think the most important thing is to like, I appreciate everyone's perspective, right? The person that I fundamentally disagree with to the furthest degree, I want to hear what they have to say. The person that I agree with to the most compatible person ever, I want to hear what they have to say. It's like we all have these different perspectives, and the truth is somewhere in between all of them. And
Oh, for sure. I am highly, highly interested in hearing and understanding the exact opposite of what I, believe and think. However, I do find I run into a lot of people just that aren't really good. Majority of people aren't effective communicators, and as soon as you present an opposing opinion to theirs, the communication stops. Like it falls off a cliff.
yeah. Well, that's people in 2024.
Well, I think that's just people in general. I just don't think that if you surveyed at any time throughout history, if you surveyed 100 random people, I don't think 95 of them are going to really be able to effectively
they
communicate their point.
Yeah, I mean, well, they wouldn't be able to because they wouldn't need to, right? When you're living in a small community and you've been told what to think everywhere, like you've been completely told what to think with no other outside information, what are we talking about?
Which I think is so crazy, and it's why I tend to, I don't want to say look down, but I have sort of no patience for someone that just believes in just factually inaccurate stuff. It's like, dude, you have access to the information. Like, it's 2023. If you have internet access and you are hyper extremist in any of these categories, it's like, bro, you're doing this to yourself. Like, there is enough information out there where you could find an opposing opinion if you really wanted to.
I think the huge part of it is that most people are trapped in a bias. Some people are trapped deeper in the bias, whatever it is. And so they look and then they only get the affirmation. And if they don't really care to really understand and know things, they just walk around town with a bunch of things that they've heard and not that they've actually looked into. And it's just, and then they hang out with people that will affirm that, right? Whether on whatever side of the coin, left, right, it doesn't matter. They hang out with people that affirm what they already believe. And so they get further down that path. And then when you only have conversations with people that agree with you, it's like, how do you even know what you believe? It's like, that's why I love when I disagree with people. I love it because I like it so much. I really, really do.
I like when I disagree with someone that I respect and I think is intelligent. I will say I am a bit short. I have a bit of a short fuse if I disagree with you heavily and I just feel like you're, one, not even really listening to me, or two, you're just not even really communicating your side effectively. I just kind of get over it. It's just, if there's nothing at the end of the tunnel, if there's not any sort of, if you're not going to present me with good new information and in a way that I can understand, and you're not going to take any of the information I have to say, it's just I've had conversations with people that we are just complete polar opposites on the topic. And I can't even get them to set a boundary, right? Okay, so here, if this is what we're talking about, we have to so we're using the same words, or we're on the same ballpark. Can we say that this is true? Well, no, this. Okay, well then let's handle that. And it just, I don't ever there. I guess the long way of saying I'm 100% would love to have a conversation with, and I do love having conversations with people that I completely disagree with. Most of the people that I guess I'm admitting that most of the people that I hang out with think like me. But actually, that's not true. Because you and, the third amigo, I think I disagree with you guys on a lot of stuff, actually.
Yeah. But that's why I like, that's part of the reasons why I appreciate you as a friend, is because it's refreshing. You know what I mean? I always love that. I actually just love consuming content that makes me this is making me cringe. Am I in my bias, or are they saying truth? Or whatever it is. I love challenging any preconceived ideas or notions or whatever it is. I like it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it is interesting to see.
What were you gonna say?
Go ahead. It's funny seeing all these finance bro channels that once the economy didn't stop doing so well for everybody, they just became these super red pill channels. Once the finance stuff stopped getting clicks, now they're just the election was stolen, and you're dude, last week you were talking about rental properties. What do we do? What's going on?
Yeah, that's interesting. That would be something interesting to look into, on a social psychological level, because Bustamante, the CIA agent, he was also saying too that UFO information is by far the most popular in the most left-leaning countries. And then right-leaning countries, UFO information and all that kind of stuff, alien topics, are way under talked about, like in comparison. And so, with that being said, right, you have people that are into finance, right, and it's just like they're a part of like, there's a different demographic of people that are into finance, right? I feel like they typically lean pretty right, like pretty consistently. Like they're not left.
It depends when you say into finance, because like a lot of highly educated economists are super liberal, like highly
True,
liberal. Like
true.
highly,
When I'm thinking about finance, I'm thinking about the people actually like really working in finance, like mortgage loan officers, people doing day trading, like
like Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah,
bros are
exactly.
usually
Like
pretty-
that personality type. It seems way the working finance person, not like the person, that's like the.
It's interesting because my economics brain, when you say like red leaning countries kind of don't give a fuck about UFOs, where my like sort of hypothesis would start and what I would like to check into is that in most of the data, and I would love for someone out there to fact check me, most of the data that I've seen shows that like a lot of predominantly red countries don't have a large middle class right now. And when you don't have a large middle class that's comfortable, all that extra shit kind of goes away. So the way my brain first started to think about this and to approach this
is Japan a conservative country? Japan's pretty conservative.
Let's see.
A lot of Asian countries are pretty conservative, right? It's like obviously Japan has some very like left parts, like or not even really left, but like liberal things. But like, I guess what defines a conservative country?
Well, I guess it would. A lot of things would have to overlap, because for us, liberal means you're pro free healthcare, you're pro social welfare, like socially liberal, and I guess
there's definitely differences. There's definitely differences.
Yeah, you're definitely like usually not religious, right? Like religion and conservative tend to kind of go together in our country, at least, right? I have zero idea how political issues and Eastern religion, relate. I have zero idea. Like, are the highly religious people in
like what is
in
China
Asian
like?
countries? Exactly. Let's see. So several political parties exist in Japan. However, the politics of Japan have primarily been dominated by the Liberal Democratic Party. Oh, so Japan's like super liberal, actually, it looks like.
I wonder, but it also is very conservative in a lot of ways too, though.
What do you mean, socially or fiscally?
I would definitely say that's a good point, right? I would definitely say they probably not fiscally, right?
I have no idea about
because I would think like this. Japan, like their homeless rate is like not much of anything, and.
Yeah, but their suicide rate from the working man is the highest in the world.
Exactly.
So, like, nobody owns the means of production in Japan, which is, like, super anti-left, right? Like, you go so far left, you get into socialism where it's, you're owning the means of production, which no one in Japan owns businesses, right? Anything that has to do with tech or finance is, like, essentially owned by the government, right? But they are, I would say, well, here's the weird thing about Japan is when you say socially conservative,
they're very socially conservative for sure in a lot of weird ways.
But like they're way more open with their sexuality in a sense of
in a
like,
weird way though, like in a closeted
yeah, exactly.
way.
That's why it's exactly it's like a closeted
but if you have
way.
tattoos, it's like I can't even go
Well,
to the
that's
gym.
That's also because in their country tattoos are like
I know
tattoos and gang activity are like hand
I know, but what I'm alluding to though is like it's interesting to see, and then like the whole way that they speak, it's like they have like multiple different ways of speaking and formality depending on who you're talking to. Like there's a lot of interesting like social dynamics within the Japanese culture that are like conservative within themselves, right? Like my cousin, she's like an aero engineer, and she was telling me that Asian countries suffer from more plane crashes than Western countries because they have so much politeness speak that like they can never be transparently honest with people like aggressively. So if you're like a pilot and you're making a mistake, I can't say, "Hey dude, what the fuck are you doing?" It's more like if I was flying right now, I would consider looking at this thing over here and maybe changing that. And so they're not able to communicate.
And it's too late by the time you just said all that
and this is a thing
shit.
that's known in Japan. It's a common trope in animes as well, where they're like they constantly have they will misunderstand each other from like the way that they speak because they have to always speak in a very polite way, and it's a very conscious effort that they make. So and then like it's like they have different parts of Japan, right? Like Tokyo, like the bigger cities, they're completely different like places. And then you have like the rest of Japan, rural Japan, things like that. They're very different. And then, but just kind of going into like Asia as a whole, though, it would be really interesting to understand the like, okay, what's cool in this country? Like marijuana in Japan, go to jail for way too long. You know what I mean? Like,
right?
So there's like a lot of weird things. But prostitution,
this is actually a really cool
blowjob bars.
You
can go to a blowjob bar in Japan and get head at a bar. It's all good. Like what?
That's crazy. I didn't know that. Looks like we're going to Japan next. I'm kidding. I'm married. There's actually this topic right here is pretty cool. I had just looked up like Japan's political leaning, and I found this Reddit post, and this guy again, this guy's not an expert. I think this is cool. He said, "I'm not an expert, so on the topic, so take my comment with a grain of salt. But as Asian descent, I think I can give some insight." You're looking at Japan from the Western lens. You assume that highly developed countries means more education and therefore becoming more liberal. Education and culture in East Asia is different to that of the West. The cornerstone in East Asia education and culture is based on the philosophy of Confucianism. To put it simply, this philosophy teaches tradition and ancestral knowledge as sources of knowledge and social order being the priority, kind of like what you were saying. This results in people not trying to question the status quo, whatever it may be. In Japan, one of the famous proverbs is, "The nail that sticks out gets hammered down." So, any ideas that rock the boat aren't entertained, which include the issues you've mentioned above. Western education and culture is based on classical Greek Latin philosophy, whose cornerstone is the Socratic thought of questioning things and the status quo. Which is crazy because, in Western ideology, sort of leaving things as there is, no government intervention, no change, is very red, right? Like, I mean, that's just how it is, right? Like, anytime a new bill is proposed to change something, like make marriage between a man and a woman to now being between everybody, usually conservatives are against that, right? Kind of keeping things the way they are. So it's interesting that, I guess then if you were to look at it, if you had to apply a Western label to Japan, I would say they're probably pretty Republican, right?
Exactly. But then but that's where I think we also get caught up with this idea where Americans, because we're Americans, we like secretly project our like ethos on like the whole world, and then we judge everybody, right? Where for them, they're indoctrinated from a completely different cultural perspective. So challenging the status quo is like not tight, but they celebrate prostitution in Japan completely different than they do in America, and that's okay. Yeah. Matter of fact, there's a video of a really famous guy who's Japanese, lives in Japan. He interviews Japanese people, and he asked a shit ton of women, "Hey, what do you think about your man cheating on you?" And they were all cool with it. They all think it's fine as long as it's a prostitute. Don't have an affair with me, but go see a prostitute. It's fine.
It's funny you said it because all of the friends I have, like older Asian guys that I know, they're like, yeah, like that's what keeps a marriage healthy. Like, what?
Exactly, right? And so it's like, being an American, that's not our culture, right? So we're like, imagine trying to explain that to your American girlfriend. It would not fucking fly.
Or my American wife.
Yeah, your American wife, right?
You know what I think is a really good point, like example of what you said about how to sort of we judge them on the same view. There's like a decent amount of racism against, black and people of color.
Even me, I guarantee you, if I went to Tokyo or certain parts of Japan, with even me, I would be subjected to a certain level of racism.
And the thing is like, I can look at it as like, what do you expect? They don't have a huge population like we do, right? Like we are a true melting pot in the sense that we really have people from every part of the world. There's a lot of people in Japan that probably don't see a person of color for a long time, if at all, in their adolescent life.
Exactly. Or when they see them, it's always a rare occasion. Like it's always rare.
Exactly. So of course you're going to have like a little bit of uncertainty, which always leads to fear, right? That's human nature.
Exactly. And that goes back to what I said earlier, where the prejudices are unescapable. You know what I mean? It's like when you don't understand something, your first response is to fear it. That's just how it goes. That's why, like, that one black guy who was on the Joe Rogan podcast that spent his whole life converting Ku Klux Klan members, that's what it was every time. The reason why they were Ku Klux Klan members was because they were uneducated, or they did it to climb the social ladder where they lived. And, like, it was like, it was empty. Like, they didn't actually hate black people. That's not really real.
Have you seen American History X?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God. That is one of my favorite movies of all time. Edward Norton, and that's literally what it's about. Him and his little brother are part of a white supremacist gang here in LA, and out on the streets, they are very, like, I mean, he's got a swastika tattoo on his chest. He talks about how he hates Jews and hates blacks. And then he goes to prison and he realizes, like, wait a minute. What actually happens is that he goes to prison and he realizes that they're all, you know, they all share things. They need things from each other, whether it's supplies, drugs, or whatever. And he's like, wait, you're preaching this racism, but then you're also working with them. It's like, which one is it? Like, it's all just a flag you're flying, and you don't really mean any of it. So that's what the whole movie's about. I want to find that guy, I think that guy deserves a shout out, the guy on Joe Rogan. What was his name?
I think his name was David something. Or let's see.
Daryl Davis.
Daryl Davis. Yep. Daryl Davis. Daryl, good old Davis. He's
I've not seen that episode or listened to that. I don't really watch any Joe Rogan anymore.
Yeah, I watch it here and there. I watched the one today that he had with David Blaine. David Blaine is such a fascinating person.
Crazy.
He's really just built so different, just mentally, psychologically, just his whole understanding of this life is just so.
Yeah.
So, well,
all right. Well, that was like I didn't even realize. I just looked up. We're at hour 10.
Yeah. That was fun. We just fucking were talking, dude. We both got the gift of gab. I'll tell you that. This would be hard to do if it wasn't us.
I feel, fuck yeah. Sometimes I catch myself rambling and I'm like, no one gives a fuck what you're saying, dude. And I have to just remember that I'm getting paid $250,000 an episode to do this. So
exactly. And you also have to remember, this is your podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I don't.
If they're not here to listen to you rant, what else are they here for?
Exactly.
Yeah,
so shout out to the millions of you listening. We appreciate you.
Remember, no Neon November. We don't want to see a single view all month.
I don't want to see a like. I don't want to see a comment. Actually, the only comment I want, # no Neon November.
Yes, no Neon November. Let's see if you can hold out. Let's see if you can.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much. It's been a great episode. We'll see you next week. We love you.